Today we're going to talk about something that is inevitable in life, but can still be really hard to deal with, and that's change. We all know that change is a part of life, but it's not always easy to embrace. When change disrupts our carefully laid plans, it can feel uncomfortable, even unsettling. But here's the truth: change is often part of God's bigger plan for us. Isaiah 43 verse 2 tells us that when you pass through the waters, I will be with you. And when you pass through the rivers, they will not sweep over you. This verse is such an encouragement because it reminds us that even in the midst of change, God is always with us. No matter how overwhelming the change may feel, He is guiding us through it. So let's dive into today's frequently asked question: how can I embrace change when it disrupts my plans? It's easy to ask this question when we face unexpected changes that throw us off course. Our plans feel disrupted, our comfort zone is shaken, and it's hard to see the way forward. It's one thing to say, God has a plan, but it's another to really trust that His plan is better than the one that we've mapped out for ourselves. Our challenge we face here is resistance to the unknown and the discomfort that we feel. We naturally resist what we can't control, and change often feels like stepping into unknown territory. The unknown is scary because we don't know what will happen next. We want certainty, and we want things to stay the same so that we feel safe. But the truth is, change is where growth happens. It's in the unknown that we learn to rely more fully on God, to step out in faith, and to trust Him with our futures. The problem of resisting change is that we miss out on opportunities for growth and transformation in our lives. When we dig our heels in and refuse to accept change, we stay stuck in the past, clinging to things that are no longer serving us. Change may disrupt our plans, but it also creates room for new things, new growth, and new possibilities that we might never have imagined. So, how do we embrace change as a part of God's plan? The first thing to remember is that change is not the end. It's a part of God's ongoing work in your life. God doesn't just leave us where we are. He's always moving us forward, even when we can't see the next step. Trust that God is in control, even when life feels uncertain. When change disrupts your plans, take a moment to pause and reflect. Instead of rushing to find solutions or make things go back to normal, ask God, what are you teaching me through this? Change often brings lessons we wouldn't have learned if things had stayed the same. It stretches us, grows us, and draws us closer to God. Don't fight the process. Embrace it as an opportunity to grow in faith. Isaiah 43 verse 2 reminds us that even when we face overwhelming situations, God is with us. The waters might rise, but they will not sweep over us because God is right there with us, holding us steady. In times of change, we have to remember that God's presence is the constant in our lives. Spend time in prayer, seek His peace, and trust that He is leading you through the change. Also, remember that God's plans are always better than ours. We may not always understand why things are changing, but we can trust that He is working all things out for our good, as we read in Romans 8 verse 28. When we accept change as part of God's plan, we open ourselves up to the new things He wants to do in and through us. God is using every shift in our lives to mold us into who He wants us to be. Are you ready to embrace change and trust God through the process? Well, I've got a mini course that helps you discover and live out your God-given purpose with clarity and confidence. If this sounds like something you'll be interested in, then click the button below this page to find out more about my course. Change is never easy, but it is often God's way of preparing us for what's next. When you face change, remember that God is with you every step of the way. Don't resist the process, lean into it with faith, and trust that He is guiding you through the waters. Embrace the change, knowing that it is leading you to something greater than you can imagine. Be blessed, And remember, you are only one revelation away.